I have an idea for a weird build that I want to make today. And while I do that, I'm going to read some stories emailed to me by subscribers. Reddit stories will be back in the next video, don't worry. But you guys sent in some really great emails, and I'm insanely behind on my backlogs. So we got to clear through some of those. This is not where I want to be. I just went through the wrong portal. Okay, found the right portal. Let's read the first story. I'm a guy and I'm 16 years old. I have a girlfriend and we've been dating for over 5 months now. And I work as a cashier at a grocery store. About a month back, one of my female coworkers added me on Snapchat, which I accepted. I mean, she's a nice colleague and we get along well. The thing is that she's been sending me a lot of snaps for the last month, some feeling a bit more personal than what you would send to your regular contacts. I really love my girlfriend, but my colleague is giving me mixed signals and I don't know how to react to them. I'm really not a fan of cheating, nor do I consider it. I love that sentence. I'm really not a fan of cheating, nor do I consider it, but something in my gut keeps me interested in my colleague as well, but also makes it feel wrong. What should I do? I think you gotta tread lightly here, man. It sounds like your coworker is into you, or you're just misinterpreting signals, which happens. But what it really sounds like here is that you like the attention that you're getting. And I completely get it. It feels good when somebody is showing interest in you. But you have to remember that you have a girlfriend. and would your girlfriend like it if you were Snapchatting some other girl? If you were getting if she saw the snaps that you were getting from your coworker, would she be happy about it? And then would she be happy that you were responding to them or you were engaging with them? Probably not. I'm gonna be honest, probably not. So I think it's important to set a boundary here. If you want to stay with your girlfriend, make it clear to your coworker that you're not interested. Because the only reason that she is continuing to send you these snaps is because you're engaging with them. And I'm not saying that you can't have a friendship with this coworker. I think you just need to have clearly defined boundaries if it seems like she has a crush on you. I don't think you've done anything wrong here yet, but just make sure that your coworker knows that you're, not about to go cheat on your girlfriend anytime soon. Also, you mentioned you were Dutch. Love the Netherlands. Beautiful country. Has the distinguished honor of being the only European country I have ever been to. I know the attention feels good, but I think you're going to be fine. You're going to do the right thing. Let's go ahead and read another story. This next one is a cautionary tale for that first guy. We're staying on the same theme of cheating with this story here. This subscriber writes, "This is more of a confession that I'm sharing with the world because it's a tough situation and I don't want anyone to make the same mistakes that I did and I genuinely don't know what to do. I'm a 19-year-old female and I cheated on my boyfriend, 19 male, while I was on a trip in Europe. For some context, I got invited on this trip my senior year of high school, meaning I'd be going while I was attending college. It was for a school musicians trip for people all around the state to play music in different countries around Europe. The group was big, containing a band group, which I was in, a choir, and an orchestra. There was a pre-camp for this trip, basically just staying at a college for a week, meeting to play and practice music, and having group meals and activities to get to know each other. It was really hard for me to connect with people because I was in percussion, and most of the group were very young high schoolers, with the exception of someone who was also in his freshman year of college. I'll call him Dylan. He was also in the same boat. Kind of awkward, not wanting to hang out with the high schoolers. We made some small talk, and he ended up being really cool. He became the only person that I talked to. We ate lunch, dinner, breakfast together, and whenever we had free time, we'd be talking nonstop. We would call all night talking shit about other kids or directors, complaining, or just talking about life. During this time, my boyfriend and I were going through an extremely rough patch. He was angry at me for going on this trip, even though I had been making payments for it before we were together. He was frustrated because our 1-year anniversary would happen while I was on this trip, and as soon as he found out, he had been begging me to stay almost every day. But even if I canceled, I'd already paid thousands of dollars and wouldn't get a full refund. The days leading up to this trip were a screaming match every day. My boyfriend is also a very insecure person and has never allowed me to have any male friends while we were dating, let alone to talk to him. On the first day of camp, my boyfriend said that he wanted to go on a break because he was so mentally drained from me, and I agreed. I wanted to enjoy my trip without an argument. So even though we were on a break, I already felt extremely guilty about Dylan, but it was refreshing. He was a good person. On the last day of this pre-trip camp, it was past curfew. I went to Dylan's room. We weren't going to do anything, but we had just found out Squid Game Season 3 was coming out soon, and we wanted to watch it together and catch up. I won't go into extreme detail, but Dylan and I ended up hooking up. This became a constant thing throughout the trip. Whenever there was a day in a new country where we had some free time to do our own activities or stay in the hotel, we would hook up. The problem is, halfway through the trip, my boyfriend and I decided to talk it out and end our break. I told myself that I would end the fling with Dylan. There weren't any romantic feelings anyway. He was just a good friend. But something stopped me, and we continued while I was still with my boyfriend. On our final day in Europe, I knew it would be my last time seeing Dylan because he lived across the state. I told him everything about my boyfriend, and we decided to hook up one last time, then cut contact. Meaning after he left my room, we'd both unadd each other and never speak again, which is exactly what happened. I haven't seen or talked to him since. I've been home for a few days now, and my relationship has still been rocky. Arguments every other day over dumb things. Part of me thinks that cheating on him is the reason that there's a barrier between us again. So, do I tell him? Sorry if this has been poorly written. I'm driving. Don't write emails and drive. I appreciate you being so honest. This is a hard thing to put out on the internet, so I appreciate that. And I think it's great that you're learning from your mistakes. But I do think that your boyfriend deserves to know what happened. I think you've got two options here. I can't control what you do, but here's the way I see it. If you're not going to tell your boyfriend that you cheated on him, then you need to break up with him. And if you want to stay together with him, then you need to tell him the truth. No one deserves to be lied to. And he needs to be able to make an informed decision on whether he wants to stay with somebody who cheated on him. I know you guys had been on a break, but like you said, you guys decided to get back together and then you continued hooking up with this other guy. You're probably right to feel like there's a rift right now in your relationship. I mean, you're feeling guilty and he probably senses that you feel guilty. Either way, if you decide to continue the relationship or not, like, he deserves to know the truth is what I think. You can't continue the relationship the way it is with you having this big lie that you're keeping. But either way, send through an update. I'm super curious to see what happens next. Hopefully you decide to make it right. Looks like we found a friend to bring home to the base. I will be taking you. Holy lag. Why did that almost murder my computer? Okay, now let's put him in water. This will be a good B plot for the rest of the video. I don't really know how long they take to grow. We're just gonna have to keep checking up on him, I guess. Okay, this one caught my eye because the subject line is, "Help, I'm a lesbian." Okay, this subscriber writes, "This is kind of stupid, and I don't think it's that serious, but I just really need a second opinion, because I might be delusional. I'm in high school, and I've never really had a crush on anyone. At least I don't think so. But a few days ago, I saw a slideshow on TikTok of photos of different women around the world, but there was one photo that stood out to me. It was of a Hawaiian woman, taken in about 1904 from what I remember, and she was gorgeous. The type of level of beautiful that I did not think was possible. The photo didn't give any more information about her, not her name, age, just that it was taken in 1904 in Hawaii. I stared at the picture for a few good minutes, then just closed the app. I didn't even finish the slideshow. I was just in so much awe of her beauty and the fact that I felt it towards another woman. I can't stop thinking about that woman. Growing up, I never had any male crushes, and I didn't feel the same way about guys as my friends did. I always thought that was because the only guy I ever talked to growing up was my younger brother, and that as I got older, I would get more comfortable around men and would get crushes on guys, but I haven't. The more I think about it, I think I've had female crushes, but didn't realize at the time. The best example of this I can think of was this girl I had in my swimming class last year. I'm super shy, so the majority of the year I didn't talk to anyone, not even the teacher. Then, in the middle of the school year, she started talking to me. Not much. The only conversations we'd have is she'd compliment me. I'd compliment something about her back, or the other way around. Then we wouldn't talk for the rest of the week. She was really pretty and nice, and I got her number, platonically, on the last day of school, and I haven't talked to her at all since. I just remember how, before I even knew her name, out of everyone in the class, I was only interested in talking to her. Don't get me wrong, all the other girls there were super sweet, but there was just something about her. There was this one other girl I met 2 or 3 years ago, and I still can't stop thinking about her. I have her on Snapchat and Instagram, but I'm too scared to ever even think about texting her. I get that, women are scary. I'm terrified of my girlfriend. She writes, "Even if I was a lesbian, I'm 99% sure she's straight anyways. Please, I just need to hear someone else's thoughts on all this. All my friends and my mom would be super supportive if I was queer, but I'm too scared to mention it to them. It's irrational. I know it is. My own sister is bi, and half of my friends are queer, so I have no clue why I'm scared to bring up how often I think of these women. I just am. I can't tell if I've convinced myself that I'm straight and I just haven't had a crush yet, or if I really wanted to be friends with them platonically and mistook it for a crush. I know you're most likely not qualified at all to tell me how I'm lesbian. I may or may not be, but I need someone else's opinion on this. You're absolutely right. I am not qualified to respond to this. I think I got to leave this one to the comments. Hopefully somebody in there can relate to this. But what I will say is that it sounds like you have a super supportive group of people around you. And you should live authentically, whatever that looks like for you. Okay, so you kind of have to trust the process on this build. I am now going to place exactly 1,056 redstone lamps in a giant block up this entire wall. And I know it sounds super ugly, and I think it probably will be ugly. It's fine, whatever. This build does not need to be pretty, but just trust the process. I have a point. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, if you have a story or question that you want me to read, you can send it on over to the email down in the video description. All right, here's another one. This one's titled, Would I Be the Asshole If I Moved Out When I Turn 18? I'm a 17-year-old girl, and I would like to be a tattoo artist, but my parents really don't want me to. My dad is the stereotypical dad who says I can only go to college and get an office job, and my mom just kind of agrees with him. For some backstory, my dad told me that he would kill me if I ever got a tattoo, and my mom said I should never be an artist because I would make no money and never be able to support myself. They also aren't the best for my mental health, but to keep it short, it's a lot of pressure on getting good grades and going to a good school. I keep coming back to the thought that I would be an asshole for moving out because they're my parents and I think they're just trying to do what's best for me. But something seems wrong when I feel like I can't talk to them about my real feelings. I've been telling them that I'm looking into good schools to go to, when in reality, I've been planning on moving out for the last year. I have a place to stay for a year without having to pay any rent, and I already have a stable job with plans to start my apprenticeship within the month that I move out. I guess the only worry would be that I turn 18 before my senior year ends, and I might not be able to move out due to school and legal reasons. My friends and their parents all agree that it would probably be the best option for me, but I keep feeling guilty about it. So is it right for me to move out when I turn 18? That's amazing that you want to be a tattoo artist. The only thing that I can draw is like one of those pointy S's. You know what I'm talking about? So if anybody wants a tattoo of one of those, hit me up. I absolutely don't think you're wrong for wanting to move out and pursue your dream. That's great. But I think you definitely don't want to surprise your family with this information. Like if you're going to be moving out anyways, you're going to have to tell them what you're doing eventually. And the sooner you tell them, the easier it will be. Like you don't want them to be finding out the day you're putting your stuff in boxes and leaving. It won't be easy, but I think you just need to like put it in their terms. This is easy for me to say, but they're just worried about you making an impulsive decision. And you just need to show them that this is what you really want to do and you have been putting a lot of thought into it. It's clear that you have. Like you're talking about getting an apprenticeship and taking it really seriously. This isn't something that you're just doing on a whim. I'm all about following your passion and all that stuff, but you should always have a plan and a backup plan. Don't be going into things blind. There's risk and there's recklessness. Risk is good, recklessness is bad. I'm definitely like stealing that from somewhere. That's a quote. I forget where I heard that. For me, it was never really clear what I wanted to do with my life. And so I think it's really great that you know what you want to do and you're going after it. Do what makes you happy. You're going to do great. Let's read another story. Okay, wait. I don't see him in here. He's around here. Oh, there he is. Oh my God, he's adorable. I know happy gas are kind of old news now, and we're like all on copper golems now, but this is pretty cute. Okay, so I've been sitting here for like 20 minutes trying to think of a name for this thing, and I just can't. So we're just going to name him Mr. Beast and call it a day. Welcome to your new home, Mr. Beast. Is this good content? Am I making good content right now? Okay, here's the next subscriber. I'm a 19-year-old male, and recently I've been considering getting a piercing. I definitely have enough money to afford it, and I think it would be really fun. I've been exploring my own identity a lot more recently, and figuring out how I want to express myself, which I think has been really good, and I feel like this decision would go along with that. It's not super important to me, but I just think it could be nice, and maybe make me see myself a little differently. Unfortunately, there are a few problems that would come with this decision. For one thing, my parents are very conservative Christians, and I don't think they would want me to get a piercing at all. In the past, they've let my sister get multiple ear piercings and a nose piercing, but I know that the expectations for me are a little bit different because I'm a man. It doesn't help that the type of piercing I'm considering getting is a navel piercing. Those are definitely not acceptable in my household, and even the broader world is less accepting of men with them. If I did get a piercing, though, I wouldn't make a big deal out of it, and I'd use my own money, so I think I'm well within my right to do it. And I think it would be fine to do it without my parents' permission. After all, I am an adult. The other problem is that in the fall, I'm going to be going to a Christian conservative college, and this has its own host of problems. I would be living in a dorm full of other guys who would definitely think less of me, and probably have some bigoted things to say if they saw it. My professors would probably lose all respect for me if they found out. I plan on trying to go to a different college after this year, one that's more secular and inclusive. So what do you think I should do? Should I just hold off on the piercing until I'm in a more accepting environment? Should I just not get one at all? Maybe go for a different type of piercing? I'm curious to hear your opinion, or any of your commenters' opinions. Hey man, listen, I think you should send it. Just send the navel piercing. For context, for anybody who doesn't know, a navel piercing is like a belly button ring. It's a piercing for your belly button. I'm definitely too much of a coward to get any tattoos or piercings or anything. So I think it's awesome that you're going for it, or that you're considering doing this. But I completely get not wanting to be judged, or not wanting to receive any judgment from your family, your potential people that you're going to be with at college. Completely get that. It's a scary thought to change something about the way you dress and whatnot when you're in those situations where you feel like people are going to be judgmental of you. But if this is what you want to do, I think you should own it. If you want a little bit of a half measure, that's maybe the safer option. I was just doing some Googling, and there are clip-on navel piercings. You don't need to actually get a piercing. You can just clip it on. You can wear it when you maybe feel safe to wear it, when nobody's going to see. And that way you can kind of test out if you want to actually go through with getting the piercing. Or you can wear the clip-on until you're in an environment where you feel like you're not going to be judged. But you're absolutely right. You're an adult. You can make your own decisions. And as long as you own it, people are going to accept you for who you are. And if they don't, then you probably don't want to be around them anyways. But thanks to you, now I'm getting a bunch of ads for clip-on belly button rings. So thanks for that. Let's read a story from another subscriber here. Okay, maybe I should explain what I'm actually making here and not leave you guys in the dark. It's actually starting to look kind of cool. I thought it was just going to look like ass, but it's looking kind of cool. I think I'm going to unfortunately have to remove that band of rocks in the middle of deep slate. Why'd I just call it rocks? I've never called a block rocks in my life. But I'm probably going to have to remove that deep slate in the middle. I think it looks kind of cool there, though. It's a little bit morbid, but this is an idea that I've had for a little while. This is supposed to be what they call a death calendar. Each one of these redstone lamps represents 1 month of my life. There's 1,056 redstone lamps here, which represents 88 years of life, if you divide that up into months. It's a little bit like an IRL health bar. I recently turned 29 years old, so 29 years of these redstone lamps will be unlit, and the remaining will be lit. And then every month, whenever I log into my Minecraft world here, I'll just go ahead and turn off one of these redstone lamps to represent another month lived. I don't know that I'm going to die in 88 years. 88 seemed like a nice round number. Maybe not round, but it's a good number. If you live for 88 years, that seems pretty good. I'd be happy with that. You can buy these on Amazon. They're just little calendars that you can fill out every day. Just check off a box. I figured, why spend the money on Amazon? I can just build it in my Minecraft world. All right, we got one more subscriber story here. I feel lonely most of the time, even though I shouldn't. I'm a 16-year-old guy in a stable house with a good family. I get pretty bad anxiety from time to time and have been diagnosed with OCD. I love my family, although I really don't feel comfortable sharing much about myself with them, and I don't like talking about my problems. I have around 8 friends and maybe 1 or 2 that I could talk to if I need. Although the only time I really see these friends is during practice for my sport, and occasionally when we hang out, which is once or twice a month. We don't talk or text outside of these times. I don't really have many friends at school, but I don't mind that as much because I spend most of my time studying or doing homework when I'm there anyways. I have some hobbies, but find myself doing nothing during my free time. I like my life, and I'm extremely grateful to have a loving family and a good house. Despite all this, I tend to find myself feeling lonely a lot of the time and wanting something more. I then feel selfish or greedy for wanting more than what I already have. I think what I want is a best friend. I've only had a best friend once, and she was my ex-girlfriend, but that ended a year ago, and we don't really speak anymore. Since then, I've tried to make another close friend, but haven't been able to find someone that I can talk to as easily. Whenever I start to get close to someone, my OCD acts up and makes it hard to keep the relationship, whether platonic or romantic. I really feel bad for wanting more. I know I shouldn't, and I know it's selfish and ungrateful. This bad feeling tends to give me anxiety, which then I feel bad for having the anxiety because it's like I'm ungrateful, and then I just kind of spiral. I don't really know what advice I want on this, but I figured I'd write an email and see what you in the comments have to say if it makes a video. First of all, you should never feel bad for wanting more for yourself. Never feel guilty about that. But so I get a lot of emails like this one, and it's kind of crazy because these questions that you're raising about making and maintaining friendships and like how you spend your time are questions that I've had to like very actively think about throughout my 20s. So it's good that you're getting a head start on this, but the bad news is that it doesn't get any easier to do this stuff. Which is probably not what you want to hear right now, but stay with me. I have a point. I don't know if this is like really any advice that I have for you, but I mean, I'll just talk about this from like my own experience. I think the big thing that I learned in the last few years is that I need to spend my time more intentionally, whether that's spending time with friends and family or doing things that I actually want to be doing. You only get so much time. I don't know. I would just like find myself canceling plans because I wanted to be alone or something, and then would just sit on TikTok or Instagram, just like watching videos of that of that fish that's the screaming fish. I don't know if anybody saw that or if that was just me, but I literally had to delete those apps because I have no self-control. But it's just easy to kind of watch your life go by. I think I had a lot of years where I just kind of assumed that my relationships would stay the same forever, and eventually I would do all the things that I wanted to do with my life. And if you don't take an active role in these things, they don't happen. You mentioned that you feel like you do nothing with your free time, which I could not sympathize more with. And I know this is like maybe a bit different for someone who's a little bit younger, but it's up to you what you do with your free time. There's no shame in doing nothing in your free time. That's what it's there for. But if you feel like you should be doing more with it, then like, I don't know, do something artistic or call a friend. You said you have that group of friends. Call them up. They're having the same issues that you are. I guarantee you that they won't have a problem spending more time hanging out with you. This has been a little bit of a windy response to your email here. It's taken a lot of turns. Let me see if I can wrap it up succinctly here. You said that you're feeling lonely, and I wish that I had like a good answer to give you for how not to feel lonely. I can just tell you like what has worked for me in the past. And usually when I've felt lonely, it's because I've been closing myself off for whatever reason that is. For me, I've just had to like really make a conscious effort to spend more time with the people that I care about in my life. Or just put myself in new and uncomfortable situations to meet other people. And I know that's like a cliche answer and not even gonna work for everybody, but whatever. That's just what has worked for me. There it is, 29 years unlit and 59 years lit and remaining. I actually forgot I turned 29 2 months ago. So now I gotta turn off 2 more lights right now. This back here looks like the makings of a crazy person. This is madness. Like if anyone just skipped to this part of the video, I'm gonna look completely insane. That's the most levers I am ever going to place. It's kind of weird seeing your life displayed in this way. I kind of thought more of it would be dark. Like I was kind of thinking this was gonna bum me out, but seeing how many of these lamps I have left and like how much life I have left, I'm kind of excited to live it. That's all the subscriber stories in Minecraft I have for you today though. Thank you everyone for leaving such nice comments, asking where I've been lately. Unfortunately, a work trip ate up a lot of my time recently, so I've had to focus on a bit more of that stuff. And listen, I won't even ask you to subscribe because I know you already have. You would never watch this far into a video of mine and not subscribe and not be subscribed. I mean, come on. Come on, you wouldn't do that to me. God. Okay, bye.